A little box pops up, click the word got it, clear it out of the way. And I'm going to mute everybody and we'll get down to business. Okay. So again, even if all you did was multiple times a day, stop what you're doing and find this central pillar, especially sitting on a chair that your knees are not higher than your hips. So that's an important piece, because if we're sitting on too low of a chair, the knees end up higher and the pelvis sort of tilts back, and we're sort of fighting with finding that uprightness. Whereas if you find a good height, then it's pretty easy to get level pelvis, vertical spine, and then you can practice those three concepts that we've been looking at: Jong, or central upright; Chun, which is softening the body into stability. So again, that's a unique idea at first, that we look for stability not by holding the body up, but actually by letting everything that can release down go down and through. But you cannot, when relaxing, you cannot allow that to slouch the body, because then that disobeys the Jong. So it's those two concepts that are really, really key. Vertical upright, and then relax the body, which is a dilation, a plumping and opening up, where everything settles down through the chair, down through your legs, down through the feet, down underneath you into the ground. So it's like a plug plugging into a socket. The power comes from that wall socket and all the electricity that's in there. So that groundedness that we're looking for, that feeling of sturdiness and steadiness, comes from, according to the Tai Chi way of looking at it, by releasing everything and letting everything connect down, not by going away from the ground, but by going all the way through to the ground. The third piece is Qingling. That's the idea that what is left when you have upright and you relax and settle everything through, what's left is light, nimble, easier to move, less impediment, less obstruction, less obstacles. And so, as I was just starting the class, I was saying, if this is all you did was sit, breathe in and breathe out, and focus on those three ideas of Zhongjung, or central upright, Chunwan, or softening and relaxing and releasing, everything sort of draining down to the earth, and then just experiencing that lightness, that subtle change of lightness when the body relaxes. And you do this 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day for 2 minutes. Just pause. Find that separation of gravity and levity, and also train that middle, that central quality. So let's just do, again, on your own, you just sit, breathe, 2 minutes. We'll just do 8 breaths here, because we want to move to the next bit. In the nose, nice, long, and full. Hold the breath. Stay full, stay expanded. When you exhale, go out the mouth, sort of like a sigh, a release of layers of grip and tension in the nervous system and body. Hold the breath empty. And then when you're ready, big inhale. Hold that breath in, nice expansion through through the chest, torso, and then release. Just let it drain out. Each breath helping to open up little constricted spaces. This quality of long, complete breathing harnesses our attention, our mind, that can be scattered and distracted and concerned in all different states. But when we just inhale, we hold, exhale, we hold the 4-part breath. Breath by breath, round by round, this calibration, this orientation, this harnessing happens. Last 3 or 4 breaths here. Again, if you take nothing away from class other than just this practice, and you put it into your weekly schedule multiple times a day if possible, it will have impact. So give it a shot. Last 2 breaths. Now we're going to do a just sort of a cursory joint mobilization here. Hands slide back, elbows slide back, chest and chin lift up. That's an arching of the back, the spine, the shoulder blades, the arms, the pelvic tilt. Then slide your hands forward just a little past your kneecaps. Follow the chest back, kind of concave your chest and drop the chin, rounding the back. And then again, slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, arch. And the other way, slide hands forward, round the back, hollow the chest, drop the chin. 2 more. So neither of these positions would we want to walk around all day in, right? This would be, you know, if we held this position or we held its opposite position, a rounded position. Either one of those, we wouldn't want to walk around all day. But this view of the body is that we want to be able to explore all the way to every range of motion that the body was built to explore. One, because that's healthy. It helps to pump life force and the lymphatic system and makes the joints and tissues happy. Let's do one more. But what it's also doing is it's opening up the middle. As you then come back to neutral and settle in the middle, the more you practice this, what you feel is your middle state has just gotten bigger, wider. There's more space. Whereas when we start, we're sort of constricted and stuck and everything feels a little small. We just blaze open some real estate by going forward and back, forward and back. And now let's do that in a rotational direction. Left hand forward, right hand and elbow back. Turn shoulders, turn head to the right. Go all the way to that edge. And then come back through middle and switch. Right hand forward, left hand and elbow back. Turn. And then switch again. So same idea. Let's clean out anything that's blocking you. Joint, tissue, nerve, brain. Anything that's in the way of you going all the way to the right and all the way to the left in the rotational plane. Again, it feels good to do it. It's good for the organs. It's good for the joints and tissue, good for the brain. But what it's also doing is helping us have this more substantial middle, this spacious quality. Come back to that neutral position and pause for a moment and just feel, if you can, if you do, feel how your middle is a little more easy for you to settle into. You're not having to hold it. You've opened it up. So you can just, boom, you're there. Let's do the sideways movement. Arms hang down. Shift the weight a little to the right buttock and just lean, softly lean. And notice that my head is tilted. My spine is just kind of doing a little side C shape. And then lift this left wrist so that you can droop maybe a little further and reach with that right hand. And then let's come back through middle. Left arm goes down. Shift to the left buttock. Lean, let your head drop a little bit that way, right? And float that right wrist up. And let's switch. This is a common pathway to have a lot of junk and residue buildup because we rarely find this shape in functional life. We don't reach down to pick something up like this, you know. We don't reach up to go get our teacup by side leaning, right? And so that's why it's important to have a practice like we're doing where we move in the ways the body should, especially in those ways that we normally don't during our day. And then find your way back to middle. And let's get our chest, shoulders, and shoulder blades. So the arms plug into those shoulder blades. Shoulder blades come forward, up, back, down, under, forward, up, over, back, down, under, forward, up, over, back, down, under. 3 more. So again, the ribs, your rib cage, and the shoulder blades and arms tend to accidentally over time become one glued, adhered state. And so we have this big, heavy sort of quality, whereas this movement, let's go ahead and switch directions. Back, up, over the top, and down. So this movement, the goal here is disconnecting, sort of separating the layers of tissue, the shoulder blades from the rib cage, feeling the freedom of the chest musculature to be in a closed state, and then an open state, and then a closed state, and an open state, so that they're not stuck anywhere in that range. One more. And back to neutral. Now for neutral, bend your elbows, hands come up, elbows go out and all the way up, and just hold here. Just hold. Just feel this open space in the armpit, the chest, right? If you do this with a soft quality, you can kind of flap and move freely, as you see I'm doing here, rather than everything's tight and jammed. Over time, you find this freedom. And then elbows down, elbows around in front and squeeze. Let's do that one more time. Elbows down, out, up, hold. And down, around in front, squeeze. And then elbows back, behind, opening this whole space here, engaging all those shoulder muscles and back muscles. And then down, forward, and as much up as you can. Hands on your back. And then elbows forward, down, back. Down, forward, and up. And elbows down. Now elbows out. One above, one below. Cross and hug your own torso. And make sure that arm, Christopher, is going underneath your right arm. Yeah, and then wrap it around your torso. Okay, you did have it, yeah. And then elbows out. And then switch. Make sure that bottom hand goes under the arm and around the torso. And give yourself a nice hug. One more of each. Elbows out. Switch. Wrap. in, out, switch, breath. And then elbows out, down, and hang. Swing these loose arms, forward, back, forward, back. And then let's go right arm forward, left arm back, and then switch, 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 switch. Let this movement cause a small turning of the torso. So when one goes forward, one goes back, there's a little rotation, and then switch, switch. Just this freedom of movement we want to feel. And then everything settles. Scoot a little bit back on your chair. Let's do our legs here. Load, push, reload, set the foot down. Switch, load, and push, reload, down. Load, push, reload, down. Load, push. One more of each leg. Again, the freedom of movement to go all the way compressed, all the way extended, all the way compressed, back to down. All the way loaded, all the way to fully straightened. Don't get stuck along the way. Come all the way back, down. Now, right leg extended out, point, flex, point, flex. So same thing in the foot. All the way point, all the way flex. Don't get stuck somewhere halfway. Finish the movement. The brain needs that to have a good, clear body map. Let's go ahead and tilt the foot in and out. In, out. In, out. In. Now circle. In, around, and out. We want that brain to have a very clear sense of the whole range of all these moving parts. Go the other way. Circle. And switch feet. Put that right foot down. Left leg out. Point all the way. Flex all the way. Point. Flex. Point. Flex. Point. Invert, evert, the foot a little flex, tilt in, out, in, out. Circle all the way. And reverse the circle. And down. Scoot forward to the front edge of your chair. Step your legs a little wider than hip distance. Lift the balls of your feet off the ground. Turn on the heel so the knees and toes point in and feel your groin area close. Right? So it's kind of pinching closed here in the groin. And then lift the toes, open. Feel that pinched closed space now open. And then close. Open. So same idea. We need to have this whole range of movement. And we want to be able to execute it and find you can execute it with soft, relaxed effort. Last one. And then back to neutral. Bring your legs back to hip distance. Forward fold. Hinge. Bowing forward, all the way forward. From that groin and hip crease and leg bone connection, you really want to close that space all the way. And then sit back up and feel how this space is a little bit open at about 90 degrees. And then lean back from this hip space, feel it open even more. And then come up to that vertical. And then again, right at that joint, that groin hip crease, fold all the way so that you're not just rounding spinal joints, you're hinging at the hips and groin, and then sit back up. So common thing that I see is rather than move from here, people start the movement in the upper spine and drop the head and all of this. When you can see my Zhongjang stays intact and I'm folding from the hips and I've still got this open, long quality, the Zhongjang is still present. And that makes all the difference now as we work on standing up and sitting down. So slide your feet back a little bit, fold from that hip crease, keep this long line through the body, arms out in front of your ankles, and then stand up. And then when we sit down, we stick the butt back, we fold. Notice I haven't bent my knees yet, but I folded from the hips. Then I sink the butt, find the chair, and then sit back to vertical. So this is kind of the exaggerated version of how to do this right by hitting each of these sort of connect the dot points where we're going fold and get to here. That's one. Sink and find the chair, but don't actually put the weight in it yet. And then lean back and sit. Eventually that can flow as just one gesture, but we have to find this forward, then rise, fold, then sink. And then maybe these last two, let's try it in one fluid motion where you just kind of forward up. And then the same thing, fold and sit. Without kerplunking into your chair, right? And without punching up to the sky, you're just flowing right up. Okay, now let's do a couple of squats where the goal of these is to get something off the floor, okay? So the butt goes back and I've dropped something on the ground. I'm folding right at this hip crease, like I was saying. Fold, let the knees bend, let the butt sink, and get your fingertips near the floor. And then push to the ground and come all the way back to standing. So see if you can go down and up in a soft, relaxed state. So you just disappear the hips and fold. Melt your way down. Stay relaxed as you come all the way back to standing. Hips disappear back. Fold. Let this open your back. And then rise. One more. Hips disappear back, and then we sit the butt to get low to the ground. And then rise. Okay, now you should have chairs set up in front of you. Go to the left side chair and stand facing it. Now we're going to use this to keep us safe. Fingertips on the chair, rock into your toes and rock back into your heels. And find this path of movement. Don't lift your heels and toes yet. Just find the rock forward and rock back. Just find that direction of movement. Okay, now rock forward, stay forward in your toes, lift the heels, lower the heels, then rock back. Remember, your chair's there for safety. Pull the toes up and then lower the toes down. Rock forward, lift the heels, lower the heels. Rock back to your heels, lift your toes, lower your toes. One more of each. And come back to neutral. Now take the hands on the back of that chair, walk your feet back, hands stay where they are, and now we stick the butt back, and once again, fold at that same hip crease. The butt goes back. This should create some hamstring stretch along the back of your leg, down, and then it should also give you a nice bit of stretch through the back, lower back, up through the middle and upper, and then even the shoulders and arms. And just hold and breathe. And then we'll come out of it just for a moment, chest up, let the butt come forward, and then do it again, right back in. Stick the butt back, fold, get that stretch. And then lift the chest up, hips come forward. Now walk forward all the way to the chair, and then stand up straight. Turn and face forward, back up a little bit. Now we're doing this. This is somewhat newer. We've only started doing this little flow here recently. So right leg, turn the foot out 5 degrees. Chair is right out in front of you. Left foot, put it out in front on the heel with the toe up. Have your left hand on your left thigh. Now we're going to fold at the hip crease. So let me turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. Fold. Okay? So fold and slide that left hand down near the shin, maybe to the ankle, maybe to the foot, and then slide up the leg as you stand all the way vertical. Again, deepen the hip crease. Fold, slide, and come up all the way. And again, I'll turn sideways so you can see this knee is a little bent. This leg, I'm making sure to keep it pretty straight, if not completely straight, to really get that one hamstring. Let's do 2 more. Fold, and your right hand's on the chair for safety. Fold, and rise. And remember to only go down as much as you can in a way that feels good. I mean, there's going to be some pain, some stretch, but don't force it. So even if some of you might be so tight right now that you can only get to about the knee with the hand, or maybe just a little lower, that's fine. Don't force things. Just gently ease your body and coax your body. Now, this is this other one we're trying. So now shift your weight into your front leg. Your back leg, take the toe behind you and lightly touch. And basically what we're going to do is fold and reach down towards the floor with that left hand, and then come all the way back up to standing. So again, we're folding. The right leg is lifting in the air, and you're reaching down. This one is very good at helping us find our middle center, because here we have to fold and keep our middle intact. Teeter-totter, okay? 2 more. Fold. Notice again, the spine keeps that jong. I'm not rounding my spine. I'm just keeping that through quality. 1 more. Fold. And rise. Okay, let's switch sides. Go to the other side chair. Your left foot turns out about 5 degrees. Right foot in front, toe up. Right, you're on that heel. Right hand on your right thigh. Fold at the hips again. Let the left knee bend a little. Slide that right hand down as far as it can. And then come right back up. Vertical. Stick the butt back. Fold at the hips. Sliding the hand down. And rising back up. A few more. Fold. Rise. And fold. And rise. Again. One more. Now, that right leg that we were just stretching, shift your weight into it. You've got your chair on your left side here for balance. And then you fold at the right hip. The left leg lifts. And you lean over and reach that right arm down like you're trying to touch the floor. And then come all the way back up. So ideally, again, just watch me one time. when I do it with no hands, but you use your chair. But leg is straight, torso is straight, this leg is straight, and I'm really just finding this pivot feeling. And again, this really helps find our middle, because that middle is where this occurs. All these body parts are moving through space, so it can look really complicated, but when you find your middle, you go, oh, it's just move the pivot here, move to here. Let's do it a couple more times. Just fold and only go as far as you should. Don't force it. Can you also do it with softness? Can you stay relaxed and then just let that leg rise, torso lower, and back up? One more time. We're back to standing. Stand in the middle for a moment. Wings. Turn palms up, come over top. Settle, hands down to your middle, and just pause here. So we just did a bunch of stuff. Just moved through different ranges. We want to let the body have a moment to remember what we're training is the middle, not training a million different movements to get caught up in those movements. We're opening space and finding the middle pivot. So notice where my hands are. They're not up on my chest. They're down in the belly button area. That's our middle pivot level. That's what controls the upper and the lower, according to Tai Chi sort of view of the body. Okay, let's move over to this chair here. Chair is there if you need it. Try no hands for this first round. Change the weight to your right leg. Let the body weight go down through the right leg. Lift the left heel, get to the tip of the shoe. Then the whole foot down. Change the body weight. Let the leg sort of softly take the weight and tippy toe. Foot down. Change. Get to the tippy toe. Down. Change. So this same middle pivot that we just used to execute different movements, we want to feel how that is where we do the important work of changing the weight, and then light, full. So this is Chun One, down through one leg, Qingling, light and nimble. And then we got to change that. Now this one is Chun One, down to the earth. This one's Qingling, light and nimble. Now let's go level 2. If you need to put hand on chair, do it. But maybe try, especially if you've been doing this for a while, can you disconnect and reconnect the foot without throwing off your center? Rely upon your center. Lift, lower, change. So we've got Zhongjung, central upright. Chun One, we're finding the way down to the earth through one leg. And that Qingling quality allows us the freedom of this foot, which we could then use to step up stairs. We can use it to step over a curb, to walk. Let's go level 3 now, hand on chair as needed, so that you can really get the range of motion. Lift that knee up by deepening that hip crease. Lower the leg down, letting that hip crease open. Change. And again, deepen this hip crease. Lift, lower, change. So that change is the thing we usually forget, this weight change. Then the lift lower can happen freely. The change, the sort of unseen skill, and then the lift lower, and then that change, and then the lift and the lower. One more. And pause here. Now, empty your right foot, put it in front, heel touching. Sorry. So again, small step, not a humongous step, just a small little step. Now, change the weight into your front leg, get to the tippy toes of your back leg, and then change back into your back leg. You're on the tip of the heel here. And then change, tip of toe. change, tip of the heel. Again. So primary direction down, meaning when I'm shifting back, I'm going down into this leg. And then when I'm going forward, I'm really thinking down through that leg to the earth. And then when I'm going back, I'm really thinking down. When I'm going forward, down. So it's down both ways. Level 2, hand on chair as needed, little lift, lower, shift, down to the earth, chingling back leg, bend the knee, toe touch the floor, shift back. From the hip crease, lift, lower, shift. From the knee joint, just bend, touch, shift. Let me turn sideways so you can see that. Hip, this little lift, lower, and then shift, and then from the knee. One more. From the hip. From the knee. Level 3, hand on chair, lift, lower, the heel touch lightly, shift, and then back leg, the knee comes forward and up, reach the toe back without any weight, and then shift. From the hip and the knee, lift, lower, shift, and then this back leg forward and up, and then reach it back. Shift. One more. Up, down, shift, forward and up, back, and shift. Now, bring right foot next to your left foot, empty your left foot and side step, closer to your other side chair, put the weight through your right leg, put left foot out in front, heel touching, level 1. Rock, get to the tippy toe of the back foot, rock, tip of the heel, rock, tip of toe, rock, tip of heel. So again, we're getting this change of Chun One Chingling, or full and empty, and then Chun One in the other leg, Chingling. So it's all about differentiating and transforming and changing. So we're not in one stuck state trying to walk around. That's where we get this sort of shuffling that happens, is because we haven't separated full, empty, and then full, empty. Let's go level 2. So once your front leg is empty, then just from the hip, lift, lower, then change. So the front leg is full, back leg is empty, then lift, lower. The better you get at changing which is full and empty, then the more effective and efficient your movement through space can be. So what I find is people rush. People prematurely try to pull the foot up to take the step because they haven't quite gotten this feeling of, oh, I got to let the weight get there. And then this is easy. And then you let the weight get there. And then that's easy. And eventually it becomes swift. It becomes efficient movement that can get you around your space very efficiently, which in turn becomes speed, right? Now, let's go level 3. Lift, lower, shift. Back leg comes forward and up. Toe reaches back, shift. Down to the earth, lift, lower, shift. Down to the earth, forward and up, reach the toe back. Down to the earth, up, down. Down to the earth, forward and up, back. One more. And eventually it can be sandwiched together where as I go down, this foot is coming up. And that's where you start to be able to move fast again. But you gotta have that separation. And let's switch sides back to first side. Chair is there for safety. Empty the right foot, put the heel in front. Now level one, walking, one step forward, one step back. So we shift into the right leg, empty that left foot, and then just step it forward, let the heel touch, and then shift again. Get to the tippy toe of the back foot. And then shift back. Once the front foot's empty, step it back, no weight, and then shift back. So it's shift, wait for it to be empty, then step it, shift, and then shift back, wait for it to be empty, no premature stepping, and then shift. So see if you can get this moseying quality. You're just moseying along casually. Keeping zhong intact so that you're not jamming in the lower back, right? So I'll turn sideways. We have this down through the tail quality that stays present so that we're not feeling stuck in the back. I know some of you report back pain, and sometimes that's because we're doing a lot in our back. We want to kind of soften and open the back. Just find that moseying forward, moseying back. Let's go level two. So for level two, hand on chair as needed, lift, lower, shift. Now this back foot, you got to step over something. So pick up the foot, step it over, and then set it down empty. Then shift, back foot, flamingo, lift and lower, and then shift back. Now this front leg, up, bend the knee, and reach the toe back. And then shift back from the hip, lift, lower, shift. Once that left foot is empty, you can just pick it up, step it safely, and then shift. Back foot like a little flamingo. That's a little test to see, did you empty it? Shift back. Now the front leg, lift, bend the knee, and then push the foot back, but don't let the weight go with it. And then shift the weight. Lift, lower. Now remember, primary direction, down to allow for this up, and then down to allow for this up. The down is primary because it makes our body connected to our root. Down. One more level two, lift, lower, down to allow for the up. Down to allow for the up. Now level three, the down allows for the up. Down. The down allows for this sort of exaggerated heel to butt, knee up, foot out, leg down, still no weight, then the shift. Then this back leg, knee forward and up. Reach the toe back, no weight. Shift. Knee up, tuck, reach, shift. So really it's Chun Wan and Ching Ling that we're playing with. We're playing with, as I sink through and I actually plug into the ground with one leg, what does that allow for in this other leg? The freedom, the Ching Ling. And then I got to change. Now it's this leg that I'm relying on. So now this one's free. And then it's this one that I rely on. So this one's free. And then it's this one I rely on. So this one's free. Have to get that yin yang change, especially as we age, and especially with things like Parkinson's that sort of throw off these abilities, but aging in general throws this off for people. We get stuck, and then we're limited in how we can change. And so this softness, this looseness is what we're looking for. Switch sides. Near this chair, empty your left foot, put it in front. Level one, casual shift. Once your back foot's empty, step it while it's still empty. Shift again. Get to the tippy toe. Shift back. Wait for that front foot to be empty. Step it while it's still empty. And then shift. Primary direction down, which frees you up for the step. Down, which frees you up. Shift, step, shift. If you focus on the softening and the down, you don't have to worry about your posture. That's the other interesting piece, is that by letting everything go down, it creates the correct up. Rather than we hold up and we never get down, and then there's all kinds of problems with that. But if we allow this down to the earth, there's a sort of buoyancy up. Let's go level 2. Lift, lower, down. The freedom of that down, freedom of this foot now. And then down, little flamingo lift. Down, up, tuck, reach. Down, from the hip. Lift, lower, down, step over, down, allows you the freedom to pick that foot up. Change, and then use that change to do something, and then change, and use that to do something. Change, then step, change, lift. Level 3, sort of exaggerated. So it's lift, lower, down to allow you the freedom now to go heel to butt, knee up, deep hip hinge, foot out, lower it softly, and then change. This back leg, knee comes forward and up, back, down to the earth. This front leg up, tuck, reach, down to the earth, up, down. As you're going down, then that's freedom for the other foot. And then as you're going down, that's freedom for this other foot. Connect to the earth, stay connected. Stay connected. Let's do one more, level 3. And come back to the middle. Have a seat in your chair. Make sure you know where it is. Let's just do a very brief respite. Hands together. Rub. Groin. Hip flexors. Front of hips. Both hands. Come around to the outside, around to your tailbone. Up onto your lower back. And then sweep down the sides of your legs, all the way down to the ankles or even the feet. Come around the feet or ankles. Come up the inseams of the legs, all the way up to your belly button. Let's do that again. Groin. Hip flexors. Around to the tailbone, sacrum, up onto your lower back. And then down the outside, up the inside, to the belly button. One more time. Groin. Hip flexors, or front of hip crease. Around to the tailbone, up onto your lower back muscles and lumbar spine. And then down the outside of the legs, around, up the inside, to the belly. And then just pause here for a moment. 5 breaths, do nothing. Arms hang by your sides, slide your feet back a little bit, stand up, folding at the hip crease. Rise. Now, just keep everything as is. So move to your left. Turn and face across so that you've got a runway. And if you set your space up like I told you to at the beginning with 2 chairs and that 3rd chair, you've now got your chairs as your safety guard as we're going to walk forward and backwards. So level 1, empty your left foot, put it in front, heel touching, the foot is empty. Change. Get to the tippy toe of that back foot. Step it while it's still empty. Change. Step that empty foot, keep it empty, and then change. Step, change. Step, change. Now we're going backwards. Be extra careful going backwards. It's a little trickier. Change. Now make sure your front foot is empty. Keep it empty when you step back and find the floor with the toe, and then change. And then step that foot back empty. Change. Change. How's your zhong or your central upright? Are you remembering Chun Wan and Ching Ling? Meaning, let the weight get to the earth on one side so the other foot is free. And then let the weight get all the way down through that other leg so the first foot is free. And change. And also, you might see here in my ankle, this movement here. This is an important movement to let this be nimble and loose. The calf and the Achilles, a lot of people get calf cramps, foot cramps. So each time you're transferring this little movement of that back foot, when it's emptying, is important because it's keeping it pliable. So that here we can reverse and melt into the floor. We're putting the toe back and then we're melting down through to the earth. Toe back and then melting down through. So the whole foot, ankle, calf tissue has to be pliable, because if it's stuck, then again, it's like we have cinder blocks and we're very limited in our nimbleness, right? And that's enough forward and back. Let's do our sideways walk in here. Turn and face forward. Now, empty your left foot and step it out, in, out, and in. Keep doing that, please. So again, it's your right leg, out and in. Now, as you're doing that, let's take these secret swords here. This is a Tai Chi thing. And place them right on the quad, right on this groin area, this inguinal crease. So what you want to feel here is this side, left side, is closed. And then as you step out, you want to feel this space open and then close. Open and close. Because here's the thing, Carolyn, you're doing this that I'm going to use as the example. If I step and let my weight go with it, this side never opened. It never opened, right? So what we're trying to do is open, close, open, close. This is the qua. This groin area is very important in Tai Chi in terms of it's a space that we need to open up to allow all kinds of internal freedom, okay? Now, stepping out, right quad open, left quad closed. Now, change that. Right quad closed, left quad open. And then change back. And then change back. So hands here are giving you an awareness of a space that's closing and opening, and then closing and opening. And I'm keeping my feet glued to the ground, yet I'm changing full, empty, and then back to full, empty. Now, close the right quad, left quad open. Let's bring left foot in. So now it's closed, closed. And then open the left. And then close, open, close, open, close. Christopher, make sure you're not letting your body weight go to the left, right? Because you're kind of letting yourself fall that way. Make sure it's just the leg all by itself. That's better. Open, close. Open, and close. Now, feet together, both quad closed. Change to your left leg, change to your right leg. This one's really important. This helps you find down to the earth so that this side would be empty. And then down to the earth, this side empty. Down to the earth, down to the earth. Now, once more into your left leg, stay left, right leg out. That's right quad open. Then close the right, open the left. Then close the left by bringing the foot in. Keep them closed as you switch the weight to your left leg again. And then open right, shift, close left, shift, open, shift, close. So what Tai Chi offers over time is you start to be able to move the body more from this internal mechanism rather than being lost out in these moving parts. You start to find sort of the cockpit, the place from which you really move the best, right? Trying to fly the plane from anywhere other than the cockpit wouldn't make sense, right? And so we're finding belly, back, and groin area as that main place to have open and pliable. Change, step in, change, step out, change, in, change, out, in, out, in. Once more, there and back. Now we're going to add, as we shift, turn from the quad, turn a little bit, and let the hands come across. Now bring the left foot in. As you change into your left leg, turn a little bit. The hands sweep across. Step right foot out. As you shift into the right leg, turn and let the hands sweep across. The bear washing paws in the stream while sideways walking. Shift and turn in that space, that qua space. So we're finding room to turn. Step in. Shift and turn in the qua, the hand goes across. Step out. Shift and turn, the hand sweep across. Step in. Shift and turn, the hand sweep. Step out. Shift and turn, the hand sweep across. Step in, let's go back. Step left foot out, shift and turn to the left, sweep the hands to the left. Step in. Shift into the right leg, turn to the right, hands sweep across. Step left foot out. So this is actually a complicated Tai Chi move, but it's one of the simplest ones we could do. Because we're adding in walking, we're adding in the shift and the turn, adding in the awareness of what's happening in the hands, and eventually trying to find how it all is just a very simple gesture. Very simple. There and back one more time to finish. Bear washing paws, step in. Shift and turn, step in. Shift and turn, step out. Shift and turn, step in. Shift and turn, step out. So in the Friday class, we work on all these different hand and upper body maneuvers. And so this is a blending of the two. And if you remember, what we're really cultivating is internal space. So it's less important that we move the body in some particular outside way, but more that we find how we're controlling this movement from that groin, belly, and lower back. Groin, belly, lower back. Groin, belly, lower back. And come back to the middle of your space. Hands together. Rub. Rub the back of one hand. And then rub the palms again. Rub the back of the other hand. And then from the standing position, let's do that same self-massage. Quad or groin. Hip flexors. Around to the tailbone, sacrum. Up onto your lower back. Right? Just on those muscles there. And then, like we did our squat, sit your butt back and sink. Slide the hands down the legs, around to the inside of the legs, come up the inside past the groin to your navel. Let's do it again. Quad or groin, hip flexors, around to your lumbar or sacrum, tailbone, lumbar, up onto your lower back, and then sit the butt as you sweep around to the inside, come up the inside to the navel last time. Around, up onto the low back. Yang channels down. Yin channels come up. And finally, up the outside of one arm to the shoulder. Turn that palm up, down the inside and off the fingertips. Repeat that on the same arm 4 more times. Up, turn, down. Up and down. Up, down. One more. Switch sides. Up the outer to the shoulder. Turn, down. Up and down. Up, down. Arms hang. Shift your weight just a slight amount to your toes, to the balls of the feet. Your heels are light. And then lift and lower your heels the smallest amount, creating a little bounce. Bounce, 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 bounce. So very light, but see if you can relax your body enough that you feel this ripple through the whole body. Let the arms be loose. You see my wrist kind of wagging along. This lightness. What a lot of times is happening is people are holding the body while doing this. This is a great, simple practice to shake out the debris. Shake out the debris. And then come to stillness. Pause for a second. And to see if you can soften anything a little more through the nervous system and tissue. And then do that one more time. Shift a little bit into your toes. And then just light bounce, 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 bounce. And settle. Wings, roll palms up, fold over top, settle down to the belly button level. And then seal the practice. Take one hand over the navel, other hand over top of that hand. 5 breaths here. Thank you so much, everybody. Find your chair. Make sure you can, you know where your chair is, so you sit down safely. And if you have any questions, comments, anything at all, feel free to unmute and share that. Otherwise,